Hi, my name is Tara Kachaturoff, and I'm the host of Michigan Entrepreneur, where we feature businesses from startup to stellar. Today I have as my special guest Marc Alexander, who is the co-founder and CEO of Lite. Welcome to the program.
It is an honor and pleasure to be here, my friend. I am excited about today's show.
Me too. And we met a couple months ago and we talked about another company of yours, but today we're going to be talking about Lite. And before we jump into that, why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself, maybe coming up to this point in time?
Yes, I was born and raised in the beautiful city of Pontiac, Michigan. Went to Pontiac Central, and then I went to this amazing school called Kettering University, where I went to pursue engineering. Now, what was so unique about that was the fact that my last year of college, I struggled to get through school, and that's important because this journey to get to Lite started from that moment. And I remember receiving this anonymous $16,000 to pay for my last year of college with the one request I paid for it. That was a mustard seed of faith to start my first business, which led to that amazing word all entrepreneurs know, the big pivot to Lite. So Lite came when a client asked, can we use your Lite tuition software for our nonprofit? Oh. And me and my co-founder said, yes, why can't they use it? And we pivoted from Lite Tuition, which is still helping students, to Lite, which is now our B2B fundraising white label software that help organizations fundraise while staying compliant so they can focus on their mission while we help them raise more funds. And it has been a wild roller coaster, but exciting journey thus far.
Yeah, and let's just back up a little bit.
Yes.
So Lite Tuition was your first company that
Yes.
you started. Tell us just a little bit more about that. It's helping students to raise some money to help pay for their
Yes, absolutely.
expenses.
So, and I mentioned, and that's why that story of that anonymous 16,000 is so
and you still don't know to this day who gave you the 16,000.
Now, side note, the reason why I had the chance to learn, I was actually invited by a national television show to say, hey, we can help you find that person. But I turned it down for this simple reason. It keeps me humble because I promised myself the first time I meet that person, I will greet them with a smile, a thank you, and the world's biggest hug. And by me not knowing who that person was, I have to treat every individual I come across as if it's them. Because imagine being able to sit here now, this would not be possible without that initial journey. I would feel horrible if I greeted that person for the first time without that smile, hug, and thank you. So still don't know, but I'm eager to learn when the time is right. So that all started in, I remember students asking me, Marc, how did you raise the money? And you learn so much more about the big problems where you're part of the problem itself. I said, we have to do something. I remember that promise, pay it forward, and we started Lite Tuition. So Lite Tuition is still to date the only fundraising platform that allows students to raise money for education that's sent directly to the school without the burden of debt. So these are unrestricted funds that help pay for books, tuition, room, board, because as we all know, college is more than just tuition. It is a lot more. So we want to make sure they have that same.
You don't always want to eat peanut butter and jelly.
Thank
I
you.
ate so many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in college because I had
goodness.
no money because it was all
Ramen
going to
noodles
tuition.
and the value menu for me was my saving grace at times. But yes, this students still need help even to this day, which is why we still have Lite Tuition going to help them out. But that is my gift to the world, and that's why I continue to get that company going and thriving. But that's my baby. I love Lite Tuition.
And what's so interesting about it, it's like you don't give the money to the student. The money is sent directly to the college, and colleges enroll in the program. So yeah, and
correct.
I love that model. It is so cool, very clean. They never have to worry about the money. The student doesn't have to keep track of books themselves. It's just so simple and elegant.
Absolutely, and it gives those donors the peace of mind because we've heard horror stories about good causes where you write a check, you send us money, and it never reaches that. We guarantee it reaches endpoint, which is why we strategically build partnerships with every school around the country to make sure we have the student ID, unique information, and the school can get in care of the student. But yes, I love that model, which is why we still love that business still to this day.
I do too, and that's why we talked about it a few months ago.
Yes.
But today we're going to talk about Lite,
Yes.
where it's like B2B fundraising for organizations, and you built it upon this model. So, so interesting. So that is how you were sparked for the idea. So, what's the how long did it take you? Somebody came to you with this idea. How long did it take you to start this company up and kind of create a new company based upon this idea?
So I will share this because you always hear a lot of feedback as you travel different ecosystems about we love 2 times founders. And I didn't understand that philosophy until I became a 2-time founder. So starting Lite Tuition, it took some time because I had to learn so much, get acclimated to it. But Lite Raise was literally, we was able to get that going in a matter of a week or so. We was like, okay, we can just do a quick pivot. Now, granted, incorporating the company and going took no time at all, but we had to make sure the branding was secure, taking care of the website. So that took a little bit more time just to make sure we had those things in place. But to get the second company going was way easier than the first company.
Are there certain types of things that you have to comply with when you are doing in the donation kind of end of things? Are there special kinds of receipts they need to get? Is there special kinds of tracking that you have to do as a company for the clientele?
So what we've done, and we realized this makes it as easy as possible. Our system automates the receipts. So to your point, yes, the biggest thing you have to make sure you give any donor is the receipt of donation. And on that receipt, you have to make sure you have your company name, your EIN number, your address, and some form of contact that the person can reach out to. This is critical because when they're filing their taxes, if they have enough to make sure it's deductible, they need this information to submit to the IRS, of course. So that's where we help streamline it because what happens, and we have so many amazing nonprofit leaders out there, but just like founders, they're wearing 1,000 hats all at once. And what happens, all it takes is one thing to fall through the crack, and then you're in the whirlwind and just trying to build it up. So we automated that process. The second someone donates, they get the receipt, their thank you notification, they get a double receipt to make sure they're in compliance as well with the nonprofit organization and the donor. And on top of that, we have some AI to keep them compliance internally because we want them to focus on the mission while we can be that strategic partner to focus on the growth and impact for them.
And I know you talk about mission because like churches are using this software, but talk about the kinds of organizations that can use this particular software. So churches for sure, because when they want to fundraise, it's just so much easier to have like one place for people to go, right? Instead of like fumbling all over, like, can you write me a check? But what kinds of organizations are you targeting with this particular software?
Yeah, so we're targeting organizations that do less than $100,000 a year.
Okay.
Now you'll say, why these organizations? There's 1.4 million nonprofits, whether they're churches, grassroots organizations, 501c3s, who under the 100,000 bracket, they have small teams and they are bootstrapped, but they are passionate about it. Those are organizations we ideally focus on, but we work with large clients as well. We have an international client. We have clients that do significant amounts of donations a year, but we want to make sure we help those underserved nonprofits who truly poured their heart into this idea. They believe in it, they have a lot of faith, and they're convicted on it, and we want to make sure they're supported. So we have, I'm a Kiwanian myself, so we partner with the Kiwanis organization here in Michigan. So we have some clubs using software. I know we have some other clubs, Lions Club. We have some big shout out to It's a Grand Life. They were a new nonprofit that started. Raised over $60,000 once we partnered with them in the first 14 months. So it's a lot of organizations we work with, but our sweet spot, those organizations that do less than 100,000, because we know how hard it is to build a business, especially when you truly believe in it, and we want to make sure they can get to the next level.
And it's also outside of churches as well, correct?
Yes.
Correct. And so we've got, I mean, it's pretty much open to anybody if they have to do some fundraising effort. So
Absolutely.
even if somebody was like going to do a gala at year end, they could even buy the software for a period of time
Yes.
and run everything through there, correct?
Yes. And then what we do, and I love the fact that you talk about the software, what we realize is when you subscribe to a software, sometimes you have to go through a chat bot, 15 emails, and a human being just to cancel. We make it as easy to cancel as it is to sign up because the one thing we don't want anyone to feel is trapped. That's the last thing you want to do to servant leaders. It's already challenging enough to build this amazing vision that's put on you. The one thing you don't want is another mountain in front. So as easy as it is to sign up, it's just as easy to cancel because we are truly here to serve and help these organizations scale.
So they can just, if they have something they want to run over a 3-month period, they can pay for 3 months and then
Absolutely.
and then turn it off. So in your model, talk to me a little bit about your pricing model and how it works. You don't have to necessarily share the specifics unless you want to, but tell me how it's set up, the tiers, and what people are getting at these various tiers.
Absolutely. So right now we're set up as a SaaS model, even though we have some amazing things in our product pipeline. So it's the lower package, which is $99 a month. Then we have our growth package, which is $250 a month. And then we have, of course, our scale for some of our larger clients, which is $499 a month. So we have a lot of our clients that's right there in that sweet spot, the $250, which gives them access to campaign customization, of course, white glove service support. But for those organizations that say, you know what, I want to try something, our budget is razor thin or just non-existent, we have the starter package. Now, the beautiful thing behind it, everyone that signs up, they have a human being that's assigned to them. So Brittany, who's our relationship specialist, does an amazing job making them feel on board and welcome, because software for a lot of our nonprofits is new. Unfortunately, this is that one sector industry where it's still a lot of antiquated technology that they have. And the one thing we don't want them to feel is burdened with something else new to learn. So we have an amazing tech team behind the scenes that support them, but 3 tiers. And then, of course, for our large clients, we have an enterprise package where it's customizable, so that way they can track all the organizations. If they have, like Kiwanis, multiple clubs that's under an international company, they can track all the fundraising, all the insights, because data is so important in this day and age.
So when they get a package and they get so many campaigns, break down what is a campaign in terms of their world.
Absolutely. So for their campaign, it can be a plethora of things. So of course, you did a great example. If they have an event, people can use rewards, so people could acquire certain sponsorships, certain insight. But if something happens, now here's a good example. You have a lot of nonprofits, they're inundated with people who need help. And the one thing that's hard for a nonprofit to do is say no. What we now give them the opportunity to do is say we can't give, but we can support. So if someone wants to approach and say, hey, I'm in need to help pay my rent for this month. Can you all help? Well, we can't give you the money directly, but we can create a campaign through our fundraising platform and help you get the word out there. Because the beauty behind this, that money is controlled by the nonprofit. So even with Lite Raise, we don't touch the money, we don't do anything of that nature. We want to make sure they're empowered to have the funds. So they can raise this money for this individual, immediately give them to them, because the second someone donate, that money is in the nonprofit's account to help that person out.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So is there any, like, you know how they have at many of these organizations, they don't take any, you're not taking any, you're just, the fee that they pay is all they pay?
Correct.
Okay. You're
Correct.
not like, here's an extra 5%,
Absolutely.
like an extra 10% off the top.
And then what you see as well too, that, and I think, I heard this term, there's like, Mark, you have founder market fit, because I not only started this to help nonprofits, but I've been a servant leader for my entire life. The first business I ever started was a nonprofit. I sit on different boards, I still volunteer, I'm involved with a plethora of organizations, but it highlighted so many pain points. The one thing you don't want is surprise fees or your money being held up, because I've seen over my journey where, I was like, yes, we raised $5,000, but it's going to take 5 to 10 business days for it to be dispersed. I was like, well, I needed that yesterday, so we want to make sure they have immediate access to the funds they raise, because they deserve it.
So they can just hook their, whatever their account is, into the back end of this, and then it
Yes.
just flows through? Wow, that's great. That, I mean, this sounds like even better to use in many respects than other things, like even for running just your everyday business.
Yes.
I'm not kidding you. This is cheaper for some people. Seriously, this would be cheaper for some people that I know to run their business through here, because when you add up all the PayPal fees or whatever it is, it's going to far exceed your lowest tier.
Yep.
I kid you not. I'm getting like a business idea. Oh my God. I mean, just the implications of what you just said.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. This is way beyond like donating, because I mean, PayPal fees are,
Yes.
or any of these
Absolutely.
platform fees are. Is there a problem with people doing that? Using the software for something that's not, it's like, it's kind of like, you know, when there's pharma drugs that come out and then they write the script for it, but it's not really for that thing, but doctors can still give you the script for it because it helps some other problem.
And
What's the implications here?
what we made sure we've done is, because we realized that as we continue to scale and grow, and we're thankful to all the amazing organizations that trust us with their company, we're going to come across some of those who may not be necessarily focused on nonprofits. So we're already preparing for that.
You need to make another company.
Yes.
We need another company. You can do it. You can do it in less than a week.
Yes.
If you start today, you can have it up by next Friday.
Yes.
We'll have you back on and talk about it. We need a name.
Let's make it happen.
You need to do this.
I agree.
Seriously?
I agree.
Oh my gosh.
Told you, today's going to be an exciting day because I'm already loving the
You said it was, but oh my gosh, my mind is just, you need to get on this like fast.
Well, I'm going to tell my team, get ready because I'm coming back and we're going to be all over the
Seriously.
whiteboard.
I know, like, it's just so many people would want this like right now.
Amen.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know that's not the topic of this interview, but I just can't stop thinking about it now. All right. So, so since you've started Lite Raise, can you share like a couple stories or a standout story from somebody who's used the software and what it's meant to them because they didn't have maybe they didn't have this easy functionality that now they have. Can you share about that?
Yes, one story I'll share because I know we can publicly do so. Craig and Kathy of It's a Grand Life. So we had the pleasure of spotlighting them on Fox 2 News, CBS Detroit, and a few other networks. But Craig has been doing an amazing job highlighting grandparents. And it was amazing. I didn't realize even my own self, I was part of a grand family where my grandma was very instrumental in the life of me and my mother and my sister. And I was like, wow, I was a grand family child. And he mentioned and highlighted some statistics, how right now in this day and age, it's so much pressure put onto the grandparents to not only help take care of their children, but their grandchildren. And when you're at that point, you think, okay, I've worked 3/4 of my life, now I can retire. And no, you're still working just to make sure things are taken care of. It's stressful, it's challenging. And he shared some stories where they were donating gift cards, and a $100 gift card meant so much to his grandparent. And it broke my heart because our grandparents, our leaders are very strong and they are able to keep this armor on and everything is good, but behind the scenes they're hanging on by a thread to keep going. So he said, we need to do something big. We are going to launch our nonprofit. They launched last year, and he's like, we need a fundraising partner. So they partnered with us, and it was so amazing to see them reach the $60,000 goal in 4 months for them to get going. And that's where I was like, we have to let the world know not only about Lite Raise and helping nonprofits, but about It's a Grand Life. So we went on different news outlets when they heard the story, and it moved people. I'm so proud of them. Craig was just awarded, and I forgot the award, but highlighted from a national aspect, just because now they're not only helping in Michigan, but they're also in Alabama, other states as well, and they're helping grand families all around the country. So watch out for them. They are rising stars to keep an eye out for. But they're
based
story.
Here in Michigan.
Yes.
Based here in Michigan.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And the thing is like grandparents are worrying about 2 generations.
Yes.
I mean, actually 3, their own themselves.
Absolutely.
And then their children, and then their children's children. So it's, what an interesting idea. And that's such a neat story.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
And there's some amazing individuals. You will love them. You'll meet them one day, trust me.
I know, I think I will. And what I love is just that the software is so easy that, like I said, if you want to do a benefit at year end, a gala, a special dance to raise funds for something, I mean, it's so easy for an organization to just pop into here, set up a campaign. So that's where they get to like design the page and stuff? Is that what it's about?
Absolutely.
Like a campaign?
Here's the beauty behind it.
Like,
it
how
is
does that work?
white label, because what we realize, donor trust is very important.
Right.
So when they have their own platform, it has their logo, their branding.
Oh.
You don't see anything that says Lite Raise. We are just a secret weapon behind the scenes, because when they go from your main website to your donation page, the branding needs to be very consistent so the donor can know this is a platform, a site I trust because I was redirected there by the main organization. So you don't see anything with Lite Raise. Everything is set up, and they can create and customize their campaigns. They can have rewards if they like. They have the full capability of running their own marketplace fundraising portal right through their platform.
So they do all the design of the page themselves, uploading this stuff. Oh,
yes.
Wow. Yeah, and I could see like if there was some other like name in the corner would not look
Absolutely.
good. Yeah, that would like, where's my money going to? Like, it gets back to like, all the e-commerce platforms we use where they're taking pieces away and by the time you get it, it's like, that's all I made.
Yep.
Like, that is so neat. I love that. How are you getting the word out to organizations that year end's coming up and they want ways to easily get money and nobody wants to like be, giving physical things to, scan this or whatever. I mean, they can actually and send it to the page, but I mean, how are you going to get the word out and how are you doing it and how what are your plans for the future to get this out to more people so they know this is out there?
Yes.
Because
So
all those things like you want to plan, when you think about the money part, you just glaze over because
Yep.
it's like, oh my God, I have to worry about this and I can't send it through PayPal. They'll take all my money, or
absolutely.
that kind of thing.
So what's interesting?
Nothing against PayPal, but
What's interesting, and that's why I have to continue to appreciate this founder journey, because so much of what I have to do as a founder are same things I have to do as nonprofits. So of course, we already know the big day that's coming up from is Giving Tuesday. And yes, it's months down the road, but just like fundraising, you need to already be planning ahead. So what we did this year was we launched what we call our Grow Initiative. For 6 months, we're working with new clients to get them ready and set up for Giving Tuesday. So they get our software so they can already have built out and taken care of. They have workshops and seminars. So we just had yesterday a legal and compliance. So even with these nonprofits who may not have access to attorneys, we had an attorney come on and teach them these are things to be concerned and worried about as a nonprofit. Last month was setting up their own nonprofit data room. We call it our Raise Room. Things all nonprofits need to have in place. Your bylaws, your articles of corporation, your minute meetings and board meetings set up. So we're getting them all structured while at the same time giving them software, because they need to have marketing, relationships, contacts built in place months ahead of Giving Tuesday. So we're getting the word out to our Grow Initiative, but I'll be touring the country this summer, speaking at different conferences as keynote speakers with nonprofits to make sure they know we are here to stay and here to help them.
so you're taking this out beyond the Michigan borders
Yes.
and getting, okay, good. Oh my God, that's great.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And you're doing like all the stuff right now virtual, so people, is it like through Zoom and things like that?
Yes. So
Okay.
we have a webinar set up where they can attend virtually, because we
Okay.
realize some of them are wearing multiple hats. So they might be at work and say,
Yeah.
I can join while I'm on my lunch break. So we make it accessible for them everywhere around the country.
Wow, that's great. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And now, how long has Lite Raise been in play?
We will be celebrating our 2-year anniversary in October.
2 years.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what have you learned in this journey with this company that is beyond what you learned with Lite Tuition? What have you learned?
I think one of the biggest things I learned, and definitely for our entrepreneurs that's watching this, when we have this amazing idea, we think it's not possible. In our mind, we say, you know what, there's already big players out there. You have folks who have been backed by big funds, but there's still people who need the service. Because when I started to look at the data, and thank you to our amazing team for just digging into that, to see that we have 1.4 million nonprofits that are underserved, struggling, looking for help, but no one's taking care of them because they do less than 100,000. I'm like, there is a market. So even with your ideas, if you think it doesn't work, trust me, all work works. You don't think it's working. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I had to,
Love
for
that.
me, you'll hear just throughout my journey, I have big faith. So I prayed on in advance. And once I got the vision, I went full steam ahead. Because if that's the case, there will only be one pizza store in the entire country. There are thousands of pizzas, different flavors, different styles, and the same thing with business.
Yeah.
There's different styles, different flavors, but there's always a market for you. You just have to be willing enough to find it and serve it.
And you know, that is such a valuable piece of insight to share with people, because, yeah, you're right. The whole pizza thing, like, yeah, there's not one pizza store.
Yes.
If there was, we'd all be disappointed, right? Because I mean, like, we'll all go around and buy a pizza from every different person just to find the right one. I mean, I've had so many different kinds. But yeah, oh my gosh. I love that too. And the whole fact that, you know, you're picking an underserved market segment, and it's like, how good do you feel about serving?
Yes.
Because when you think about like a church and how they have so little funds to do things, and they're, you know, the last thing is like, oh my gosh, more tech and more, you know, like you said, everybody's wearing like 10 hats, and then they all have full-time jobs in addition.
Absolutely.
So it's just one more thing they don't have to think about. And the pricing points are really reasonable, because it's not growing as the donations grow. It is
Absolutely.
flat rate. You get things at each tier. You get secure, you know, payment processing. You're getting the funds.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's just, you know, looking at it, it's like, what other decision would you make? This is the decision, because for the lowest tier, there's no way you would be paying people a whole lot more than that.
Absolutely.
In terms of time, money, energy. It's amazing.
I agree.
And the fact that, all the money goes to the organization.
I completely agree.
So yeah. If you could do it all over again and go back to 2 years ago and that week that you created the new company, so to speak, is there something you would have done now that you didn't do back then? And if so, what would it have been?
Now, that's a very challenging question, because yes, with all the wisdom I've been able to gain 2 years into it, there's a lot of things I would have done different, but if I did those things different, I wouldn't have had the experience. So I would share not a setback, but a learning opportunity I had. Even when it comes to sharing and showcasing a business, you have to be comfortable enough as the CEO of your company to pitch at a given moment. I remember being in the room and someone said, well, tell me your idea, you got the stage. And I was like, I was like, okay. But in that moment, I had to stand up and articulate myself. So going back, the advice I would tell myself then is always be ready to share your dream, and don't be afraid to hide it. Because at times we guard it so closely because we're worried about someone stealing the idea. If entrepreneurship was easy, everyone would be doing it. And some people just don't have the conviction to move forward with an idea. Because even when you think about from a high level standpoint, people look at nonprofit sector as not valuable. Those organizations we talk about, those 100,000 or do less than 100,000, they bring in an annual $120 billion a year in donations. And the scary thing about this, some of them are via checks, and as we know with digital technology, a lot of people aren't writing checks these days. So there's a change that's taking place. And had I been nervous back then to move forward with it, we would never made it to this point where we're in our journey. So the thing I would advise my past self and any entrepreneur, be wise in how you share, but don't be scared to share your idea, because there's someone in the room that's willing to listen and someone that say, you know what, that is great, get us on board.
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. Like, always be willing to and open and ready to share your vision. And you know what? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If somebody wants to steal it, it's like, go ahead. It's not going to work for the wrong person.
Oh, yes, I agree. Oh, I love that. It's not going to work for the wrong person. Ooh. That's going to be quoted on LinkedIn.
You need to like AI this whole interview and pull out the things and get your book of your own book of best sayings by Marc Alexander.
Ooh,
seriously, you have to do that.
Well,
I'm going to buy that book. I want a signed copy.
Well, absolutely.
No, seriously, you got to be working on the book between now and the next time we have you on here.
Absolutely.
Because I need a book. I just love all the sayings. I mean, if we could collect the ones from the last interview and this interview, we'd be, there's 2 volumes right there.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Check it out. It's coming soon.
Like really. So what's, I know we only have a few minutes left. What is next for Lite Raise?
So I know we're doing our fundraising round, so we're excited. We're doing our pre-seed. So of course, like we're working with nonprofits.
Oh, you're doing like major.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we've been having meetings.
You've been bootstrapping until now, and then you're going to, oh, wow, okay.
Because we wanted to make sure we can prove that this worked. And of course, even talking to folks, a lot of people overlook the nonprofit sector, but as we highlight not only the traction, but the impact it's going to have.
It's going to be big.
Yes.
It's going to be big.
So we've been traveling all around the country, out of state, connecting with folks. So it's exciting times for us.
A little harder to get you in studio, but we will, even if we have to do remote cam. All right, we've come to the end of our time, Marc. It's been an amazing time with you today. Last word from you. If you could just give one single piece of advice to entrepreneurs. I mean, you're already given a bunch, but.
The biggest advice I would give is don't give up. The dark moments are meant to break you. They're meant to discipline you. The goal isn't to get rich, but stay rich. Rich in spirit, rich in wealth, rich in health. So when you're down in those moments and you feel like giving up, find that strength to move forward, because that blessing is just around the corner. Remember, it gets darkest just before the dawn. Your dawn is there, my friend.
All right. Thank you so much, Marc Alexander. If you'd like more information about our program, please visit us at www.michiganentrepreneurtv.com. Please join us again in the future when I interview another enterprising entrepreneur. Until then, wishing you the best of business.